Going on YouTube? It's Tyler, and this video is kind of like a commentary, just kind of my general opinion on how restaurants should treat Grubhub orders and drivers. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably a Grubhub driver like myself. You go into dozens of restaurants, maybe on a daily basis, and you either have an order ready or you're waiting for an order to get ready. But there are some things you've probably noticed, no matter what market you're in, about how the restaurants are dealing with Grubhub. Most restaurants are great. They get a Grubhub order, they make it in a timely manner, and they give it to the driver properly, and we deliver it to the customer, we get our tips, and move on to the next order. That's how Grubhub should work. However, there are some restaurants in probably every market that treat Grubhub like a nuisance. They get a Grubhub order and they just kind of let it sit there. They're like, oh, it's just Grubhub, it's not a big deal. I had one instance where I went to a sub chain, I'm sure you know which one it was, and I was sitting there for a half hour while the employee was making other customers' orders, and I told them I was here for X's order. Is it being made yet? And they said, oh no, I gotta finish these orders first. And just as new people came in the restaurant, he would continue to make their orders ahead of mine, even though it was only one sub. And the customer was very annoyed when I told him, listen, I was sitting in there for 30 minutes because the employee didn't think my order was serious. Grubhub customers are just as important as customers inside the restaurant because they will continually go back to the restaurant if they have a good experience. If they have a bad experience, they won't come back, just like someone inside the restaurant. This is why I feel that restaurants really need to train their employees and tell them that Grubhub is just as important as the actual customers inside the restaurants. And I understand some restaurants are going to get busy at times where they have to get, the orders in the restaurant done first and then, kind of use their discretion with Grubhub. But they shouldn't be looking at, oh, it's Grubhub, oh, why do we got to do this? That's just bad for all of us. The customers will get orders an hour later, not come back to the restaurant, and as a result, our earnings are impacted. I also feel that some restaurants should have their employees treat Grubhub drivers themselves better. There are some restaurants that I go inside where it just seems like no one wants to talk to you. Everyone just looks the other way when you're there to pick up the order, acting as if you don't exist and intentionally ignoring you because you're a nuisance. When this happens, I find myself more commonly not accepting orders going to that restaurant because I know I'm not going to be treated well. And on top of that, as a Grubhub driver going inside restaurants, if a restaurant treats me well, I sometimes will be inclined to become a customer of that restaurant. I'll see them making the food, I'll see the respect they give me, and then when I'm not on the shift, I will go to that restaurant and order some food. Also, when restaurants treat me well, even if they are backed up, even if it takes them a long time, I feel a lot happier waiting in there and being patient, understanding this restaurant's doing all they can to get my order out, rather than some restaurants I'm sure you're in where they just kind of don't want anything to do with you, deprioritize our orders, and it's just, makes our day harder. So if you're a Grubhub driver and you run into some issues with some restaurants giving you the cold shoulder, reach out to your driver specialist of your market. Maybe they'll be able to talk to the restaurant and possibly have the owner or manager talk to the employees that just aren't, doing the right thing. Or if you want to be brave, you can talk to the manager themselves and explain the things I point out in this video, that when, employees are not treating the Grubhub orders as they should, customers don't come back, the drivers don't come back, and ultimately results in less earnings for the restaurant. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm sure you can relate to it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and have an awesome day.